the San Antonio Spurs not the first year because he got swept, but that first year in Miami that they beat the Spurs. Pop is one of the greatest minds in the game, but during a crucial point in the game, Tim Duncan was on the bench and not in the game to get a key rebound. Your best rebounder is on the bench during a key moment. And I'm a big guy in body language. Right after that heartbreaking loss in the series, Pop went straight to LeBron, hugged him, and laughed it up. Now,
I remember that.
Pop is a real, he's a militant guy. But such a series like they had with San Antonio, I don't think the first thing you do as a head coach is walk up to the guy who just beat you, hug him, and laugh it up, unless there's some type of, underhand stuff that happened before the series even started. That's just me. I might be paranoid. I know you guys think I'm a LeBron hater. That series just didn't seem right to me. Smartest coaches in the game making one of the dumbest decisions at the most crucial time. Just go back and look at it. But back to the topic at hand. So, during that lottery time, they used to put the teams into an envelope.
Yep.
And you would put it in a glass bowl.
I think that was actually the first year they did it like that.
Correct. That was the first year of the lottery.
And it was the first year that they televised it.
Even better. More information.
Almost to show everyone, look how official this is. It's on YouTube. You can watch the whole draft because they showed it on USA, I think. And you can watch the whole thing. I watched it yesterday. And it's like he's so specific to show like, now the head of NBA security will turn it. And they are locked and sealed envelopes. It is particularly private. And we can't, it's like they were going out of their way to show.
To make sure that, hey guys, we are secure here in the NBA.
Yeah.
But speaking of that security guy, so it was a guy by the name of Jack Wagner of Ernest and Winnie. They're an international accounting firm that the NBA personally hired to conduct the lottery. But Ernest and Winnie was also the key auditor of Gulf and Western. Now, I know a lot of you guys probably thinking now, like, who the hell is that? Well, Gulf and Western own which team, Adam?
I do not know.
They own the New York Knicks at that time.
Oh, shit.
So, you have the NBA who hired this quote-unquote security team, international accounting firm, to run the NBA draft. But it's the same accounting firm that worked with Gulf and Western who own the NBA Knicks.
Yeah, that's the
New York Knicks. Conspiracy, ironic, I think not. Now, there was rumors that the trick was they were going to place the card in a freezer. So David Stern, once he touched it, automatically knew that was the New York Knicks card.
That's the theory. Yeah.
But what I saw was when Jack Wagner had the New York Knicks card, you would place each card into a glass bowl. But one card he had, he actually smacked the damn bowl. So it bent because they were all just paper cards.
Uh-huh.
And you're looking directly down at this glass bowl so David Stern could see the bent card. So he'd go straight forward. And also, if it was cold, of course, he could touch it and be like, this is the New York Knicks card. Next thing you know, lo and behold, Patrick Ewing is a New York Knicks instead of a Sacramento King.
Yeah, attempting to bring the Knicks back to their storied past.
So, and then, not only that, it was a spokesman from Ernest and Winnie that used to place the card in the envelope. So they had it set up from ground zero.
Yeah.
And then you have David Stern coming out and saying, quote unquote, if people want to say that the lottery was fixed, fine. That's his exact quote.
That's his mentality, though.
As long as they can spell our name right, that means they're interested in us. That's terrific. Keep that in the back of your head. This is a businessman who's over the NBA saying, I don't care if they think I cheated.
Yeah.
As long as you can spell out NBA and you talking about us. Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, always say, bad publicity is good publicity because it's publicity. That is the motto and a lot of concepts for a lot of these businesses. They just want you to talk about them. They don't care if you know they're cheating or screwing the system or not. As long as their names are spewing out your mouth, they're good to go. Sad, but, true. Now, let's fast forward to a bigger screw job. A second nugget. Before the 90s, the league average was around about 111 points per game. Then in the late 80s, it was late 80s, 90s, it was like that. After the 90s, it dropped to 92 points per game because the game was becoming too physical. Bad boy Pistons, Knicks, Bulls, etc.
And those Knicks and Heat fights, they weren't scoring anything.
I'm sure you guys remember the famous Jeff Van Gundy getting stumped out by Alonzo Mourning trying to break up a fight. That was Heat Knicks, right?
Yeah, Kurt Thomas,
Man, but so the league pretty much needed another dominant story. Something that was going to boost the ratings. Jordan had retired. They had to do something drastic. Stern saw Shaq in the Lakers as the next big thing. So what did he do to help him? You got to do something. You changed the hand checking rule for the low post. Were you familiar with that rule?
Oh, yeah.
Explain to the listeners what exactly that is.
Okay, so essentially they made it almost impossible to guard Shaq.
Yeah.
Because before, hand checking in the 80s was a huge part of the game. And if you've ever played like pickup basketball, it drives you nuts when someone does that. Because people that grew up in like the 80s, 90s, they love to do it because they're used to it. And it was allowed in the NBA. But then they're like, all right, we need Shaq. We need like someone like a superstar. And all of a sudden the rules changed where it was like pretty much impossible to guard him because you could not put a hand on him as he was back posting.
Couldn't use your hands.
Yeah. So I think Scott Pollard, ironically, because he fouled out against Shaq in like 10 minutes, which was a big controversial thing of that series. But he was one of the better defenders because he could use his chest and leverage. But other than that, nobody really could stop him. In around 2000 to 2002, Shaq was completely unstoppable.
Ironically, guys, that year, Shaq had one of his best seasons ever. He averaged 40 points and 14 rebounds. That was also Phil Jackson's first year as the head coach of the Lakers. So you got all these big-time storylines. You got to do something to make sure that they win. I know you're probably thinking right now, you guys are reaching, but just stick with me because it'll all come together, trust me. Now you have the rule in place for the Lakers to win. But just like any rules, you got to have somebody in place to implement the rules as well. Mm-hmm. In comes the referees. Joey Crawford, Mike Callahan, Ed Malloy, and Tim Donaghy. Surprisingly, all four of these fools went to the same high school.
I did not know that.
In Springfield, Pennsylvania. All four.
This is like, I didn't even know that. That's blowing my mind.
It's deeper. Okay. I'm telling you guys, we're going to drop some nuggets on you. And you're going to automatically be like, hey, Sacramento got screwed. Point blank, period. Now, not only did those four go to that high school, but guess who else went? The guy we was talking about before the podcast who was associated in the mafia. They used to talk with Tim Donaghy. He also went to that high school. And that's how they all got involved.
Oh, shit.
So, and that's going to play an even significant role later in the story. Now, in the midst of all this planning, you have a young and exciting team being formed in Sacramento. In the 2000s, the Utah Jazz, which was one of the best teams in the NBA, faced that young team led by Jason Williams and Chris Webber. What do you remember about those white chocolate teams?
Great chemistry. It was almost like the old Showtime Lakers. They just get it and run. Everybody could hit a three. Yeah. You got where Chris Webber could hit threes after a while. Like, I don't know. They were just a great, fun team to watch. A lot of showmanship.
I always tell people that Sacramento team was Golden State before Golden State.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it wasn't no Steph Curry. But the way the ball flowed, the way the offense looked
Yeah,
completely different than anything
They had
else.
more
Yeah.
traditional catch and shoot shooters. They didn't have anybody shoot off the dribble, but they had people that would perch out on the wing and hit the open three.
Love it. Now, meanwhile, in the 2000s, the fix was in already. Dick Bavetta was going around screwing up the Blazers, doing that epic series with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was one. She was picking up all kind of crazy fouls. Steve Smith came down the line and got clothesline. Didn't call anything.
I remember this series. Pippen was on the Blazers.
Pippen came over. That was the epic.
Yep.
Kobe alley-oop to Shaq.
They still show it. I hate that.
All the time. Trust me, guys, that was set up, point blank period. The Blazers, go back and look at that series, which I did to get ready for this podcast. She picked up a tech by looking at the ref. It literally, and I can't remember the ref name, but he went over to the coach of the Blazers and was like, I told him to stop looking at me. Those were his, I told him to stop looking at me. And he teed him up. If that's not favoritism, I've never seen that. You getting attacked for just looking at a referee? And he said, you're not going to intimidate me. Really? Mm-hmm. By a little glare? Now, the next year, Sacramento felt like they had to do something different to compete with the Lakers. And they traded Jason Williams for Mike Bibby. Next thing you know, the epic series came into place with the Sacramento Kings and the LA Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. So now we're at 2002. Lakers won game 1, 106-109, but they did not lead for the next 11 quarters. As Sacramento won game 2 and 3. Now they should have won game 4.
Okay, that's right. I messed up in the beginning. Yeah,
that's when the screw job came in during game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. The Kings were up by 24. And the lead was cut to 14 at the half due to a half-court shot by freaking Samaki Walker out of all people. That shouldn't have counted. He didn't even get the shot off in time.
Oh, yeah.
But it counted it anyway, which leads to even more controversial stuff. Mike Bibby, and I had the soundbite, but I lost it. They asked Mike Bibby at the half what did they think, because I think another game, somebody had just made a comeback at the half. I can't remember which team they was referring to.
Yeah.
But they asked Bibby about that at the half, and he was just like, nah, I'm not worried about it. They hit a lucky shot. We'll just come out in the second half and keep it rolling. Little did he know that they were about to get screwed over, starting with the second half. Numerous blown calls by the Lakers. Foul after foul. Shaq had Mike Bibby in a headlock. They called a foul on Bibby.
Yep.
Chris Webber,
I was livid.
yeah.
I remember. I was very biased because I was a Kings fan, but I remember just being like in disbelief. Like I was like, "This can't be happening. I don't understand like what's happening right now."
Yeah, I remember watching the series. Did we watch all of those at your house?
Yeah.
Yeah. That possession that Shaq had, Chris, and that was one of the pictures that we put out on Instagram and Facebook. And you can literally see Shaq has Bibby in a headlock. This is not an over-exaggeration. He had him in a headlock. They called a foul on Mike Bibby. Doug Christie and Chris Webber, foul trouble throughout the second half.
Yep. Scott Pollard, who was a good defender on Shaq, he would foul out in like 10 minutes.
Bibby, poor Bibby, man. Bibby was harassed all night. I saw at least 4 flagrant fouls on Bibby during that game. No calls whatsoever. One possession, Vlade Divac was so frustrated, he just slammed the ball. Off of, stupid blown calls all night long. Technical foul on Vlade. Mm-hmm. Like, quick to blow the whistle on Sacramento. And then, I hate to even bring it up because it hurts my stomach. The epic Robert Horry tap-out shot to beat Sacramento in that game, which they won by 100-99. 1 point. Mm-hmm. Which should have been negated because Samaki Walker should have never got that shot off.
And I guess people could always argue, like, oh, well, if he hadn't hit that shot, things would have played out differently, like, you know. And that's fine, but my thing is just that